CRUD operations. I said about how to insert the data, and I said about how to delete. Yes. So these are the things what we have seen in the last class, right? Yeah. So these are the things what we have seen in the last class. So after that, so let me talk about working with the Django forms. Okay. We started with Django forms here. It means you can create a form. So in Python or in Django, you can create a form, HTML form. You can create an HTML form in two ways. You can create an HTML form directly within HTML. You can create an HTML form directly within the HTML. You can create an HTML form using which class? Form class. And that form class you can render. Render means convert into which form? HTML form. Okay. You can create an HTML forms in two ways. So try to understand this. You can create an HTML form in two ways. First one is you create directly, write a template, write a template directly, say HTML, so HTML body, and you write directly which one? Form. You are creating a form, and within the form, you define the form elements. Within the form, you define what? Form elements. How you define the form elements? By giving something like employee number or employee name and define input type. Okay. So input type equal to text. Input type equal to text and name equal to some employee name. Okay. So this is one way of creating a form elements. So there is an employee job. I'm saying input type is a text and name equal to job. So then I'm writing here employee salary. Okay, input type is a text and name equal to what here? Salary, right? So this is creating a form directly within the HTML. You're creating a form directly within the HTML, but instead of creating a form elements, instead of creating a form elements inside what? HTML, you are creating a form. You're creating a form by using Django forms. You are creating a form using which form? Django form. Okay, Django form. What is Django form is? A class. What is a Django form is? A class. Which class it is? Suppose I want to create which form? I want to create which form? Employee form. So employee form inherit which class? Form class. Employee form inherit form class. And what this form is having? Employee name. What this form is having? Employee job. What this form is having? Employee salary. What this form is having? Employee name. This form is having employee job. This form is having employee salary. So you represented form as a class, but you have to convert this. You have to convert this form class into which one? HTML. So you are rendering this form. You are rendering this form means you are converting this form into HTML. Hmm. You are converting this form into HTML by providing a methods of form, by using the methods of what? Form. So form is provided some methods. Form is provided some methods by using which you can convert this form into which form? HTML form. You convert this form into which form? HTML form. Then what is the advantage of writing a form as a class and rendering into HTML? What is the advantage is you can verify which one? Validations. You can write the validations at which side? Server side. For example, salary must be greater than zero. Okay, salary must be greater than zero and salary must be less than 1 lakh. Okay, job must be manager or clerk or accountant. So how can I verify all these validations? Suppose employee name should be in which case? Uppercase. Employee name should be in which case? Uppercase. Then how can I verify all these validations? I can verify all these validations. All these validations I can do it within which class? Form class without writing a code in JavaScript. Without writing a code in what? JavaScript. Everything you can do in which class? Form class. So the advantage of Django forms. What is the advantage of Django forms is okay, what is the advantage of Django form is okay, handling user input, automating the generation of which form? HTML form, data validation, and secure processing. All this you can do it by using what? Form class. Okay, right? So there are two types of forms. One is a standard form, and one more is what? Model form. And in HTML page, you can have either one form or more than one form. Then you group all that forms into one set. And that you can call it as what? Form set. What is it? Form is a client side program or server side? Server side. It is rendered within the template by the server and send it to client. So form is a server side program and executed and rendered at server side. For working with the form, Django has provided a built-in module called forms, that is Django.forms. So what is a standard form? A form which doesn't build using model fields or model is called which one? Standard form or generic form. In this, in this form, every field is defined by what? Programmer or developer. So what are the basic steps for developing a standard form? Create a form and create a form by inheriting which class? Form class. Hmm. And create object of a form and render form object within the template. So first one is creating a form by using which class? Form class. So let me tell you about this. So standard form is created or developed. Standard form is created or developed by inheriting which class? Form class. So what is the syntax of creating a form? Now this is a syntax of creating a form. So class, so you are writing a class and which class name? Form class name and this form class. So this form class inherit what here? Form. This form class inherit form and here you define the field names. These are nothing but input field names and it followed by type, input field type. So there is a field name and define the input field type. So you try to define the field name. So there is a field name and it followed by the type. So form provided various types. Okay, Django form provided various types. So different field types you find here, form fields. If you see form fields, you find different fields. Okay. So you can see character field, choice field, date field, date time field, decimal field, duration field, email field, file path field. All these are what different types of fields. But here, will you find any field called password field? Here, will you find any field called password field? No. There's no field called which one? Password field. If the field is not available, if the given field is not available, then you try to use a field of which type? HTML type. Use a field of which type? HTML type by using input field type. By using which one? Input field type. Okay. So for form, you can also define the labels. For form, you can also define the labels and you can enable or disable and you can define what? Validators and you can define HTML fields by using which one? Widget. Okay, right? Now let me tell you about this. But all these are called which fields? Form field types. All these are which field types? Form field type. Okay. So let me tell you an example here. So I say no, it is not bind with. I mean a form which doesn't bind with a model, a form which is not created by using model, and that form you call it as what? Standard form. Okay. So let me tell you how to create this. Okay. So first what you do is so create one project. So already we did that, I think. Otherwise, create a project. So create a project. So after creating a project, so create the application within the project. Okay, create an application within the project. So I created project. I created application within the project. Correct. So after this, create a module. So create one module here. And what is the name of the module is open the project. So open the project. So what is your project is project 12. So open the project and after opening the project, so inside the application, create one module. Inside the application, create one module. And what is the name of the module? Forms.py. But you can give any module name. You can give any module name. But what is the name of the module? Forms.py. Inside this module, you are writing what? Forms. You are writing forms in which module? Forms.py. But name can be anything. See, module name is user defined or predefined? User defined. Module name is not a predefined. Module name is what? User defined. What is the name of the module? Forms.py. So inside this module, create a form. So first what you do in application folder, inside application folder, create. Inside application folder, create a module with name, a module with name with name forms dot py. Create a module with the name forms dot py. So create a module with the name forms dot py. Okay. So after creating this, inside this, create a form. So create a form class. Okay, there is a class called a student form. What is the name of the form? Student form. Student form should be a form or not? Yes. Then how you develop a form? You develop a form by inheriting django.forms import. Which module? Form module. Every form should be inherited from which class? Form class. Every form should be inherited from which class? Form class. What is the name of the class is? Student form. Inherited which class? Form class. Student form inherit which class? Form class. And in this, I want to define some fields. And what is a field name is? Roll number. And roll number is a field of which type? Okay, define forms dot or just to say so forms dot form. And here I'm saying forms dot define the fields. And here this is which field? Integer field. It is an integer field and you can define the maximum value and what? Minimum value. Okay, this is validation or not? Yes. And you can also define the label. You can also define the label. So there is a label for, this is a label for which one? Roll number. Now this label is inserted. This label is inserted as a label. Which tag? Label tag. This label is inserted as which tag? Label tag inside what? HTML. Label tag inside HTML. In the same way, I'm writing a student name equal to forms dot which field? Character field. And you can define the maximum length and minimum length. You can define the maximum length and minimum length. I said a maximum length is some 20. Maximum length is 20 and minimum length is some at least one letter should be there. At least one letter should be there. If you want, you can say required. Required means compulsory you have to enter. So we'll see that. Validations, we'll see it. What is the name of the label is? Student name. The label is student name. There is a course. Course equal to forms dot. Okay, course equal to forms dot. So there is one more field. And what is the name of the field is? So you can have all the fields here. Combo field I select. So I'm selecting which field? Combo field. But when I select the combo field, then you have to define the values or not. Yes. Now you have to define the fields. Okay, fields equal to, you have to define the sequence. Fields equal to what? You have to define the sequence. You have to define the sequence means what I'm doing is I'm trying to write courses. Okay, courses equal to list of courses. And what are the courses is? I'm taking the course name as what? Python. Okay. Okay, course name is Python. Course name is Java. And course name is Oracle. And course name is what? AI. So fields equal to what here? Courses. Fields equal to what here? Courses. It means inside this combo field, I want to display how many fields? Python, Java, Oracle, and what? AI. Okay, Python, Java, Oracle, and AI. Okay. Comma, I can define the label. I can define the label. And what is the label is? Course. Student course. Label is a student course. Label is a student course. And then I'm writing a fees equal to forms dot, okay, forms dot float field, forms dot or float field. And here again, you can define the validator and you can define the maximum value and what? Minimum value. So total how many fields I have taken here? Four fields. Roll number, name. course and one more is a fee. Roll number, name, course and what? Fee. Now this form I want to render into what? Template. This form I want to render into what? Template. Template. But how can render into a template? As a table, as a paragraph, as an unordered list. I'll try to show you all. Okay. So just to see it. Now create one folder here. So create a folder, and what is a folder is templates. And inside this folder, create one template. Okay, what is a template is student template dot html. Student template dot html. Now this is a template, and inside this template you have to render which form? Student form. Then who will send that student form? View. Who will send that student form? View. Now you just create only which tag? Form tag. But how you define all these form elements? By using which class? Form class. You don't define the input elements here. You don't define the input elements, but the input elements already defined in which class? Form class. You have to render this input elements or these fields into what? Template. But how can you do that? Go to the views dot py. So this is one view, and what is the name of the view is student, and it required one argument, and what is the name of this is a request. Okay, request, and here I'm creating a form. Okay, form equal to forms dot. Okay, form equal to application dot what? Forms import. What is the name of the form is student form. Okay, I'm saying form 1. Okay, form 1 or form anything you can give. Okay, student form. Okay, student form equal to student form. Now this form I should render. This form I should render into which template? Student template. Then I'm saying response. Okay, response equal to render request comma define the template. What is the name of the template? Student template dot html. And to this template you are sending to this template you are sending which form? Student form. So what is the name of the object is student form. What is the object is student form. I'm giving both as the same. Then after that return. After that you are saying return. What you written here? Response. Render request comma student template dot html. To this template you are sending a form. How you are sending the form? As a context parameter. How you are sending the form? As a context parameter. So what is the name of the form? What is the key? Student form. What is the object? Student form. Inside the template, how you access this object? By using a name. What is the name? Student form. Now inside the template, you can insert this form. What is the name of this is stud underscore form dot. How you want to insert this form? How you want to insert this form? I want to insert this form as a paragraph. I want to insert this form as a paragraph. If you want to insert the form as a table, then say as a table. Okay, as what? Table. If you want to insert a form as an unordered list, write here what? Unordered list. But here I'm writing insert as a paragraph. I'm inserting this form as a paragraph. Now just go to urls.py. Okay, define the URL for this view from these from application.views import. What is the name of the view is student view. Okay, student view and define the path. What is the name of the view? STUD. What is the view is STUD. And go to the settings.py, install the application. Go to the setting.py, install the application and insert and define the template path. What is the template path? Base directly slash, what is that here? Templates. Base directly slash templates. Okay. So where will it search for the template in? Base directory, right? Yes. This is how you are trying to do it. After that, after that, run your application. So Python manage dot py, run the server. No migrations because we are not using any model required. Which one? Comma. Comma, na? Application. Okay. No, this is something error, right? Oh, fields. Oh, so in student.template, oh, sorry, forms.py. Okay, see here. There are some fields out there, no? What is the name of this is? Combo field. So here we have to say is a combo field, right? You have to say required. Required equal to what? True. Okay, right? Now just to see here, required student course label. Oh, so what is the problem here is, so run the server. Here, what is the problem is, here we define the fields, right? So are we define the fields? What is the fields is? Courses. But courses is having only sequence, right? What is the sequence contain Python, Java, Oracle, and what? AI. But when you say combo field is nothing but drop down. What is a combo is? Combo is nothing but drop down field. Combo field is nothing but what here? Drop down. So combo field is a combo. Uh, Combo field, this is multiple values, right? This combo field is which value? Multiple values. You're defining the fields. Okay, you're defining the fields. Okay, combo field, and there is a field. Okay, there is a field. Oh, sorry. I've written wrong. Okay, combo field. Okay, your field option is, so field option is for defining field type. Field option is for defining which one? Field type. Field type. And it is which field type? Character field. It is which field type? Character field. Okay, it is of which field type? Character field. And then you're trying to define values. Okay, you're trying to define the values. But values are which type you have to write here. Okay. Okay, what we'll do is this is combo, right? What I'll take is otherwise. Now, because again it required a lot of things here. I'll make it as simple because it is a first class, first form class, right? Then what will I do is I just take this as which field? Character field. And whenever you write a character field, so define the maximum length, and I write a maximum length as what? 15. I'll tell you combo also because of first one. I'm not telling more. Okay. So label is, okay, what is the label is student course. So this is my label. See, multi-valued, I'll tell you. Don't worry, multi-valued, I'll tell you. Now run this. Now come to this place here. Open the browser. Open the browser. And what is the name of the view is student. The name of the view is student. You can see roll number, name, course, fees. And see the view. View page source. Now you can see it is inserted as what? This form is inserted as what? Paragraph. So is it this code is generated automatically or not? Yes. We just inserted form as a paragraph. What we have done, we just inserted form as a paragraph. We just inserted form as a paragraph, right? So now you can see there is a label. So label is what here? Roll number. So what is the input type is number. What is the input type is text. What is input type is text. What is input type is number. Is it everything is defined automatically or not? Yes. Suppose if you don't give the label, if you don't give the label, what is the default label is field name. What is the default label it will take? Field name. And what is the field name here? Roll number. What is the field name here? S name. What is the field name here? Course. What is the field name here? Piece. Getting or not? Right? So this is how it will generate. Now you can generate as a paragraph. You can generate as a paragraph. You can write as a table. You can write as a table. You can generate this form as a table. Now this is a table. Go to the view page source. You can see only table rows, table row and table heading and table column and table row like this. But whenever you generate it as a table, it is compulsory to add a table tag. It is compulsory to define which tag? Table tag. Right here, table. And table border, I've just defined the border and I'm trying to define the width. So width is given what? 100%. Now this is the beginning of the table and this is what? End of the table. Means as a developer, you don't require to define the, or as a developer, you don't require to define what? Form elements. And you define all these form elements into one class. And what is the name of the class? Form class. Are you creating form elements here? No. Where you define the form elements or form input elements in form class and render that form into template. Render that form into a template as a paragraph, as a table. Now refresh this. You can see this is a table. This is a table. You render it as a table. Go to the view, page source. You can see table column. Okay, this is table heading. That is nothing but student roll number. And this is roll number required. ID is given as what? ID roll number like that. But are you building anything or done automatically? Done automatically when you insert as a table. Now, in the same time, you can insert as unordered list. You can insert as what? Unordered list by using as unordered list. Now refresh this. This is which list? Unordered list. Go to the view page source. Now you can see there is a list items. Can you see these are list items or not? Yes. So remove this table. Remove the table from template. This is which list? Unordered list. If it is unordered list, you don't require to define which one? Table. You don't require to define table. Okay. So just refresh here. This is which list? Unordered list. Go to the view page source. Okay. All right. After creating a form, what is the advantage of form? I said input. What is the advantage of form? Input validations. What is the advantage of form? Input validations. In forms.py, yes, this you understood or a bolo here. Okay, student form inherit which class? Form class. How many fields I define? roll number, student name, course, and one more is face. Okay. Roll number, name, course, and face. Roll number is which type? Integer. If you don't give the label, what is the default label is? Field name. Okay, if you don't give the label, what is the default field label name is? S name. If you don't give the course label, then what is the default is? Course. If you don't give this, what is the default is? P. You can render by using form methods. You can render by using form methods, or you can render according to your requirement also. Now I'm creating student template 1 dot html. See here, this is student 1 dot html. I'm creating another view. What is the name of this view is stud1. Okay. Now this required a request and stud form equal to student form. I created object of student form and I'm writing a response equal to render request comma. Okay. Stud student template 1 dot html comma context. You're defining the context parameter. I created one more template. I created one more template where I'm saying context. So context, and within the context, you're sending STUD. STUD form is a key. STUD form is a key, and STUD form is an object, right? So key and value. There is a key and value. And return. Okay, return. What do you return here? A response. Now, what I want to do is in student template 1.html, I want to insert form. I want to insert form, but according to my requirement, I want to insert form. See, I can insert form directly by using student form dot as a table, as a paragraph, as an ordered list. But I want to organize custom organization. First, I want a name. Next, I want roll number. First, I want a course. Next, I want a name. Yes or no? Then what do you do it? You customize it. You customize it. Now you create a table by saying border is a 2. Okay, then here you try to insert. What do you want to insert first? Suppose I'm saying table row and table column. Now what do you want to insert first? You'll say form. Which form? Student form. Okay, student form dot. Student form dot. What you are inserting? Label. What you are inserting? Label. What is a label? Student form. Which label? Student form dot label means which label? Okay, student form dot. What is the field name? Tell me, what is the field name? In forms dot is, what is the field name? Roll number. Okay. What is the field name? Roll number dot. Roll number dot. What is this? Label. Roll number dot label. Uh, Table column. Student form dot. What is the input field? Roll number. See here. First I inserted label and next I inserted what? Roll number. So can you insert form fields directly into the template? Yes. But here we are rendering it by converting into which list? Unordered list. But are you converting or inserting? Are you converting or inserting? Inserting. Customizing it. Now I want here roll number. I want here name. I want here course. Okay. Then you can read student form dot roll number label. Okay. Student form dot roll number. What is the roll number is input field or not? Yes. Come to the urs.py and student one and define the path. Okay. This is stud1. And what is the name of the view? Stud1. Name of the view is stud1. So run this. Now here I am writing stud1. So array. What I mean? Ponder, form is form, send or not send. View, views.py, stude, stud. Okay. Stud one. You can say this is roll number and this is what? This is a label and this is field. This is a label and this is field. What is the difference here? STUD means is it inserted all fields or not? Yes. I don't want all the fields. I don't want all the fields. Then what do you do it? You insert the fields. You insert the fields within the template. How many fields are inserted? Only one field. Which field? Roll number. Which field? Roll number. Roll number is having label as well as input type. So you can insert only selected fields. You can insert selected fields or you can customize the format. You can customize it. I'm writing table row, table data, stud underscore what? Form dot what is the name of the field? S name dot. What is the name of this is? Label. Okay. And table column stud dot stud form dot stud form dot S name. S name is input field or not? Yes. S name is the input field. So run the code. See here stud1 and stud1 is with how many fields? Two fields. One is roll number and one more is name. But stud is with all the fields or only one field? All the fields. Because you are rendering complete form. There you are rendering complete form. But here you are rendering. Alright. Here you are rendering the complete form. But here you are rendering selected fields. Whichever field you want it, render it. By using form name dot, field name dot, which one you are rendering? Label. Form name dot, field name. Which one is you are rendering? Field. Getting or not? Okay. So what are the basic steps here is first create forms dot py. So first thing is create forms dot py. Okay, created this. Insert the forms dot py in application folder. Created this. After creating this, what is the second step? What is the second step? What do you have to do after creating a form? Render this form into what? Template. But before rendering, who will send this form to the template? View. Who will send this form to the template? View. Okay, create a views. Create a view in views.py. In views.py, write this. In views.py, I created how many views? Two view. One is stud and one more is stud1. But in stud is rendering into which template? Student template as a unordered list. So form can be rendered within template. Okay, define URLs. URLs.py and in settings.py install the application. install the application, then define the template path. Install the application and define template path. Okay. Then run the application by giving how many URLs? Two URLs. One is STUD and one more is STUD1. Okay. And form object is render. Form object is render within template in different formats. Okay. One is as a table. Okay, it can be rendered as a table. And second one is as a unordered list. And third one is as what? As table, as unordered list, as a paragraph. Okay. So as a table means you are writing form object name dot what? As a table. So this insert, okay, this insert or render, render form elements as what? Table. Okay. And form object name dot as a paragraph. So this insert or render, this insert or render form elements as what? Paragraph. Organize it as a paragraph. Organize as a paragraph. Form object dot, form object dot as a unordered list, as unordered list. Okay, this insert or render, this insert or render form elements, okay, as which list? Unordered list. Okay, but user can customize, customize this organization, customize this organization using form fields. Using what? Form fields. What you can do? You can insert it by saying form object name dot which name? Field name. So this insert field. Yes, insert what here? Field. Insert the field. And if you want to insert label, form object name dot field name dot field name dot, what is the name of this is? Label. And this insert, what this will insert here? Label. This insert the label. Okay. So customization you can do it in second template. In second template, custom organizing or not? Yes. Here table is created by you. Table is created by you and inserting of elements done by you. But in first template, you just created form and inserted all the elements as which list? Unordered list. Okay. As which list? Unordered list. Okay. But here you are inserting individual elements. So what is the advantage of form? Validations. What is the advantage of form? Validation. But when you can do the validation after giving input, you have to input data within the form. You have to input the data within the form, and after giving input, you can do what? Validations. After giving input, you do the validations. But where you are doing these validations? At server side. You're doing this validations at what? Server side. Okay. Then how to validate? How to validate form data? How to validate which data? Form data. So because the advantage of form is doing some validations. Advantage of form is doing some validations, right? So which validation? Server side or client side? Server side. So form validations is done by populating data within form. Populating means storing data within form. Storing, okay, storing data within form. Always the validation is done by storing data within form. Then how can you do validation? By calling one method. By calling one method. Form is provided one method called isValidate. Is valid. Sorry, there is one method called is valid. Form is provided one method called is valid. Whenever you say is valid, that method calls which method? Validation methods. That method call which method? Validation method. So if the data is correct, then it returns the data into one dictionary. It returns the data into one dictionary, and that dictionary you call it as cleaned data. That dictionary is called which data? Cleaned data. Cleaned data contain what? Cleaned data. Clean data means the data which doesn't have any error. The data which doesn't have any error, that data you call it as which data? Clean data. So whenever you say is valid method, it is calling which methods? Validation method. So what is that validation method is? Clean method is called. Which method is called? Clean method. And that clean method calls which methods? Validation methods. That clean method calls which method? Validation methods. If the data is valid, then it returns that valid data into one dictionary. And what is the name of the dictionary? Cleaned data dictionary. Okay, just to see with the example. Form validations. So validations are done. Okay, form validations are done. Form validations are done at two levels. At two levels. One is, okay, field level validation. First one is what? Field level validation. And second one is form level validation. How many types of validations are there? Two types. One is field level validation, and one more is form level validation. Form level means where you check multiple fields. Form level means multiple fields. Field level means one field. You want to check all validations at once, then do at which level? Form level. You want to check validations, each field separately, you want to check the validation. You don't want to write all the validations into one method. You want to check each validation separately. You want to check each validation what? Separately, then use what? Field level validation. Form level validation, and one more is field level validation. Okay. So first, let me talk about which validation? Field level validation. Field level validation. Field level validation. So it means you are trying to check the validations, individual fields. Okay, you check the validation for courses separately. You check the validation for roll number separately. You check the validation for the fees word separately. You check the validation for name separately. That you call it as which validation? Field level validation. Getting or not? Suppose you want to check username validation or email validation. Okay, email should be in a specific format. Username should be in a specific format. Name should be in a specific format. Name should contain only alphabets. Name should not contain any other special characters. Okay. Then compulsory you have to check validation or not. Yes. Otherwise, the data is valid or invalid? Invalid. Suppose you enter name. If I enter name 123, is it allowed or not allowed? Allowed. Because it is which type? Text type. When you're saying text, text is nothing but a string, and string is a collection of characters, digits, and special characters. But it should not allow digits and special characters into the name. It should allow only what? Alphabets. Then compulsory I have to check what? Validations. Compulsory I have to check what? Validations. But how you are doing that? By using field level validation or form level validation. So field So validation means what is the meaning of validation? Verifying input data is correct or not. Validation is a process of, okay, validation is a process of, validation is a process of identifying input data. Input data is valid or not. That is what you mean by validation. Input data is correct or not. That is meaning of validation. Suppose you try to input amount, how much amount you want to withdraw. If I give amount is minus 500, is it valid or invalid? Invalid, because amount should be greater than 0. It should be greater than 0, but I should not input even 0 also. Then compulsory you have to check the validation or not. Yes. Is it that value is correct or not? And this can be done at two levels. One is field level and one more is form level. So individual field level validation is done for what? Individual fields. Individual fields. Okay. And this validation is done in different ways. This validation is done in different ways. The first one is using field attributes, using field attributes. So field will provide some attributes like maximum length, minimum length. Is it these are attributes which will verify what is the maximum length and what is the minimum length. And second one is using validator. Second one is using validator. Okay, validator using validation methods, which you call it as using which methods? Okay, validation methods. Using which methods? Validation methods. Okay, I'm saying here validators. Validator. Using which one? Validator. These validation methods, correct only, right? So using validation methods or these methods you also called which methods? Clean methods. Yes, methods also called which methods? Clean methods. Using field attributes. First one is using field what here? Attributes. Using field attributes. Using field attributes. Every field. So every field provides. Okay, provided built-in what? Built-in attributes. These are called attributes or what? Properties. Properties. You find example is maximum length. Example is what? Minimum length. Okay, example is what? Required. All these are built-in attributes or not? Yes. All these are built-in attributes. Maximum length, minimum length, required. All these are built-in attributes of which one? Field. Okay. Suppose assume that maximum length, minimum length required, but at the same time, I want to have another validation. Then how can you do that validation? By writing your own validation methods, or you can use what? Inbuilt validators. You'll try to use what? Inbuilt validators. Okay. So let me tell you first using field attributes. So here open the VS Code. Okay, now you have a student form. In student form, student name. Okay, roll number. I'm saying a roll number. I said what here? Required. So required equal to what? True. I said required equal to true. Roll number is required. What I said required equal to true. Now this is roll number must be compulsory entered. But if roll number is not entered, then it should raise the error or not? Yes. I should write the error. Student name is there. Okay, student name given maximum length as well as minimum length. What is the minimum length? Assume that minimum length is given some 3. Minimum length is given some 3 and maximum length is given what? 20. What is this minimum length, maximum length required? All these are called which one? Attributes. All these are attributes or all these are properties. All these are attributes or all these are properties of which field? Character field. All these are properties of which field? Character field, comma. So required equal to true, right? Suppose assume that, okay, suppose assume that you input data, form as I write here form as what here? Table. Form as a table and table, I define the border. Table, border is given and I'll try to define some width. Okay. So I try to define some width. Now here I should put one input field. Okay, table row and table column, I'm writing input type. Input type equal to submit. Input type equal to submit. And the value is, I'm taking the same value. What is the value is? Submit. So once you click on the submit, this form data is submit to the view. This form data is submit to what here? View. And what is the name of the view is? Student view. Okay. Now assume that you're submitting this data to the view by using one method. What is the name of the, so form method, form method, form method equal to what here? Post. Form method equal to post. Means you are submitting this form data to which view? Or you're submitting this form data to which view? Student view. By using which method? Post method. Okay, now if the request method is, if request dot method is, if the request dot method equal to what? Getter. You are creating one empty form. If the request dot method equal to getter, what you are doing? You are creating one empty form and this empty form you are rendering into which template? Student template. You are creating one empty form and you are rendering that empty form into which template? Student template and sending the output. Student template and sending output. You are creating one empty form. When you are creating an empty form, if the request method is a post, what you have to do? If the request method is a post, what you have to do? If the request method is a post, what you have to do? You have to read data. You have to read which data? Form data. You have to read which data? Form data. And that form data, you have to check. Is it that data is correct or not? You have to validate. Is it that data is correct or not? But how you validate? By storing this data inside what? Form. You have to store this data inside which object? Form object. See, form is used for input as well as what? Validate. Now here you created one empty form. You created empty form, right? Why this empty form is for input? You input the data into the form and submit. Once you click on submit, the request is come to which view? Same view. But this time the request method is get or post? Post. Then you should read data from where? Form, input form. Whatever data you input inside the form, you have to read the data. And the data where you have to store in? Form. In which object? Form object. You have to store inside which object? Form object. Why you are storing it? To verify is it this input data is correct or not. To verify this data is correct or not. Now what I am saying is STUD, I am creating one form. STUD form equal to student form. And inside this form, I should store the data or not? Yes. Which data? Input data. Then input data is where? Input data is where? Request. Where is the input data in? Request. Request dot. Where is the data in? Post. Where is the data in? Post. Post is a dictionary or not? Yes. So all this data you are storing into which object? All this data you store in which object? Student form object. Why you store? Why you store? To validate. Why you store? To validate. Is it this data is correct or not? Your created form object by storing which data? Input data. Why you store this input data into the form object? To verify this data is correct or not. But how you verify it? If stud underscore form dot is underscore what? Valid. Is valid. Is it this data is valid? If this data is valid, then what I have to do? I have to get this data and display. If it is invalid, you have to display error. If it is valid, I want to display this data. If it is invalid, I want to display error. Then how can I get the data, valid data? Now your form is having student form is the object, right? STUD form is the object of which class? Student form. STUD form is the object of which class? Student form. It is having one dictionary. What is the name of the dictionary? Cleaned data. What is the name of this dictionary? Cleaned data is a dictionary actually. Okay, now this is having what? Data. Which data? Which data? Cleaned data. Cleaned data means data without error. Data without error is called cleaned data. So that data you read it and display it. Okay, render it. You send it to a template and display within the template. I just write HTTP response otherwise. So from Django dot HTTP, I printed otherwise. Import. What do you import? HTTP response. And then I said return HTTP response and render this data. Format string. So data of what is the first one is roll number. Then data of, sorry, what is the second one? SNE. So we'll try to render this. Return response. Otherwise, you're saying return HTTP response. I'll tell you how to get predefined errors. Invalid. Invalid what? Data. This data is not valid. This data is what now? Invalid. Invalid data. Has just given a message. Invalid data. Yeah, see here, this process. You understand this process here? Okay, just to see. Run the server. See here. I'm writing slash stud. If I write here slash stud, the request is sent to which view? Std view. What is the request method is? Get. What will happen? It will create what? Empty form. What will happen? It will create empty form, and this empty form is rendered into which template? Student template dot html. It will create one empty form, and this empty form, this is empty form. This empty form is rendered into what? Template, and written what? Response. Okay, so I'll get empty form first. See here. This is empty form. Get the empty form right. Then enter roll number, enter the student name, enter the student course. Okay, enter the fees. Okay, enter the fees and click on submit. When I click on submit, the request is sent to which view again? Student view. When I click on submit, the request is sent to which view? Student view. But this time, what is the request method is? What is the request method? Get or post? Post. You are submitting the forms here. You are submitting the form using which method? Post method. You are submitting the form using which method? Post method. Then in post method, it will come to which block? Else block. It will come to which block? Else block. What you have done in else block? You store this data. Which data? Post data. You store this post data into which object? Form object. Why you are storing this data again into form object? To validate. Why you are storing this post data into form object? Validate. To validate, is it this data is correct or not? For that, you store this post data into which object? Form object. And after storing into the form object, you are verifying, is it this data is valid or not? So is valid calls which method? Clean methods. Okay. If the data is valid, it returns which data? Cleaned data. And from that cleaned data, you read how many values? Two values, roll number and name, and return the response. Otherwise, you get a message invalid data. So submit this. Okay. So if the request method is post, what do you have to do? CS RF token. So percentage CS RF underscore token. So enter roll number, name of the student, course of the student, fees of the student. Click on submit. Now you can see roll number and name. Because data is correct or not? Yes. For example, name is there. What is the minimum characters? How many characters? Three. But what will I do is roll number, two characters I'll give. How many characters? Two characters. So give the fees and click on submit. You can see, please, length this text is how many characters? Three characters or more. You are currently using how many characters? So who's given this message? Server. So field level validation or not? Yes. See the code. View page source. View page source. And you can see text name course. Sorry, name. Okay, maximum length is 20. Minimum length is yes. Required ID is which one? ID is name. I'll try to input more, and this is, and I said which one is required? Roll number is required. If I don't give roll number, please fill out the field. Getting on not? So these are HTML validations or not? Yes. It is similar to which validation? HTML validation. Understood? Bolo here. Very simple, but you need to write at which level? Form level. Form is used for two. What is the first one? Input. What is the second one? Validate. You create empty form and render into template. That is for input. That is for input. After that, you enter the data and submit to the view. Then view will read and again store into which object? Form object. That is for validation. That is for validation. We are storing into form. That is for validation. But how you are validating? By calling one method. What is the method is? Is valid. So I just use field attributes and create, modify this, go to forms.py and write like this, and then template. Template is same, no changes in template, but you have to add only uh, what button student template dot html. This is very very important because as a Django developer, you don't create you don't create forms, but you'll try to use Django forms. Okay, right? So this is in views.py. So I've done changes only in views.py and in the template and here in the form. So here, how this validation is done by calling within view. Okay, inside the view, inside the view, okay, create form by storing which data? Input data. Inside view, create a form by storing which data? Input data. This is what I did here. This is what is the meaning of it. Okay. I created form by storing input data. Okay. And after that, uh, how you are invoking validation methods? By using one method called which one? Is validate. Is validate. Invoke. After this, invoke validation methods. After this, invoke. So invoke validation methods. Validation methods by calling which method? Is valid method. Is valid method of form object. Is valid method of form object. Is valid method of form object return. This method returns which value? Boolean value. So that can be either true or false. It returns a Boolean value. If is valid method is true, okay, it returns cleaned data, cleaned data, cleaned data inside one dictionary, inside one dictionary, inside one dictionary of which object? Form object. And what is the name of the dictionary is? The dictionary name is what is the dictionary name? Cleaned data. The dictionary name is cleaned data. So this is third one, right? The dictionary name is cleaned data, right? Then read the data. Suppose if the data is not valid or if any errors are there, it will come to which block? Else block and display those error messages. Okay, right? Yes. Then now generally, whatever whatever validation attributes, here you have an attributes, right? This attributes doesn't hit what? Server. Because these validations are which validation? HTML validation. Okay. These validations are HTML validations. Means when you click on submit button, it doesn't hit what? Server. Means, is it this method is executed or not executed? Tell me, is it this method is executed or not executed? Executed. But will it invoke the field attribute level validation? No. Okay, field attribute validations, you have to remember this. Field attribute validations or field attribute validations, attribute or properties validation or which validation? HTML validations, and these validations are verified. These validations are checked. These validations are checked at what? Checked at what? Client side, but not server side. It is at client side, but not at what? Server side. But at server side also you are doing validations, right? Now what will happen? You send a request by using post method. Then you have not entered roll number and click on submit. Then immediately it shown input fill roll number or fill character. Suppose maximum length, minimum length. If the minimum length is 3, but if I given 2, then when you click on submit, that validation is done at which side? Client side. But it's not sent to which one? Server. Because these attributes define the properties. Properties in what? HTML elements. In HTML element also you find maximum length and minimum length and required. All these are there in HTML elements or not? Yes. Those are which validations? Client side validation, but not server side. Those are client side, but not server side. Now, there are some validations which you cannot do it by using HTML attributes, and that you do it which side? Server side. That you do it server side by using clean methods. By using which one? Clean methods. That is using validation methods are what? Clean method. For every field, you can write one clean method, or for all the fields, you can write which method? Clean method. But how to work with these clean methods, I'll tell you not today, but we'll see tomorrow, right? But these validations are client side or server side? Client side. These validations not at what? Server side. Because which attributes we have seen? Field attributes. Field attributes are HTML properties, and those are evaluated within the browser. Those are evaluated within the browser. Okay. So yesterday I'll tell you like client as well as server both. Right. Thank you. We'll see tomorrow. Right. Tomorrow we'll see.